Good afternoon, QChurch, and welcome to our house. This afternoon, we continue our quest together, exploring what love, life, and faith look like for each of us in the 21st century. This Wednesday, we'll be meeting in the back hall for IQ to continue our quest for an intelligent expression of faith. Doors will open at 7:15 for a 7:30 start. Entry is free and everyone's welcome. If you are a guest with us this afternoon, then welcome to QChurch. If you'd like to find out more about us, then you'll find a Welcome to Our House card on the pew in front of you, which we'd love you to fill in and hand to a steward. Here at QChurch, we believe that we are on a quest to be an ice-breaking community that can equip and support others on a pioneering path of genuine faith. If you'd like to be part of supporting the QChurch vision financially, then you can make a donation online. Just go to qyork.co.uk and click Donate, where you can give a one-off gift or set up a regular donation. We'll also be taking what we like to call our Pay It Forward collection later this afternoon. If you'd like to make a contribution, then you'll find black and white envelopes in front of you. After our final song this afternoon, our 5 to 11-year-olds will head out for half an hour of serious fun with our Life Zone team. There will be drinks and snacks available in the foyer, and we'll have half an hour to relax and chat before collecting our kids from Life Zone and our cars from the car park at around about 5:30. But first, this afternoon we are in for a treat. Last week, as part of our quest for meaning, we were all invited to contribute items that mean something special to us for this week's service, and the response has been fantastic. So get ready for a celebration of diverse QChurch inspiration as we continue our quest for meaning. Have we had a nice week? Excellent. You are in for a treat tonight. We have a whole load of brilliant content, and so I want to just introduce it to you now. Because over the last 3 weeks, we have been exploring the themes of honor and the theme of meaning. And I think that is going to be explored tonight as well, because one of the approaches that we've embraced here at Q is to celebrate truth wherever we find it. So it might have been at one time we thought truth could only be found in one place, but we've kind of broadened our horizons to realize, actually, truth is all over the place if we've got our eyes open to spot it. Now, Jesus used to tell stories. He'd have people sat around like this, and he'd say something like, the kingdom of heaven is like, and then he'd tell this story. It might have been like a sheep that got lost. It might have been like a lady who lost a coin. Could have been like some bread or whatever was relevant to them at that time. Now, the kingdom of heaven thing was about how can I live the most incredible, vast, growing life? How can I see the world in a bigger way? How can I see kind of the ultimate truth that I might find? And I think tonight we are going to have a whole load of the kingdom of heaven is like, to help us see a bigger picture. So tonight, the kingdom of heaven is like a song. Or tonight, the kingdom of heaven is like a movie clip. Or the kingdom of heaven is like a poem. We're going to have some poetry tonight. Or the kingdom of heaven is like a turkey. We are going to have a turkey story tonight, and that will broaden our horizons on what the kingdom of heaven is like. So these items mean something to the people that are presenting to them, but they might come across to you and you might think, oh, I don't really like that. It's not my kind of thing. It's not my style. I don't really like it. I'm not having that in my heaven. And I think part of our broadening our horizons and trying to see a bigger picture of meaning, if I want to find more meaning in my life, I might need to embrace something that means something to you. And I think that takes some bravery, I think, and it also takes a bit of humility to say, I'm going to believe tonight that actually there is some truth and some meaning that you might offer to me. So, without further ado, are we ready to see a bigger picture tonight? Excellent. Well, let's kick it off with the lovely Kelly Craven.
Hello. So when they were asking for contributions, the first thing that came to mind was a song that is on Jacob's drumming playlist that we listen to regularly, that we both love. And it just gets me every time, like in my core, stirs my soul. They've brought it before once and did a brilliant job, Dig Down by Muse. So I apologise if it isn't to your musical preference. It is a little heavier than normal, but basically, every time I hear it, I just think, yes. Whenever there's a moment in life that is overwhelming, either your emotions or circumstances or whatever, then you have the choice to have this moment where you just stop, you come back to that moment, breathe in, breathe out, and find that Christ that Ant's been talking about down in there. You dig down, you find that faith, and you think, there's more to life than this moment. I can carry on, there's hope. And whether that's an insignificant little thing, like the fifth toddler temper tantrum that you're dealing with of the day, or whether it's like my colleague who's just found out that her grandson, who's 14's got a really aggressive form of Hodgkin's lymphoma. You know, there's all sorts of stuff that is thrown at you that you can feel overwhelmed by. But whether it's big or small, when the water's in your boat, it's like a big deal, isn't it? So the chorus of this I absolutely love. The verses are a bit more metaphorical, but it's gritty and I like it.
When hope and love has been lost and you fall to the ground, you must find a way. When the darkness descends and you're told it's the end, you must find a way. When God decides to look the other way and a crown takes the throne, we must find a way. Face the firing squad against all the odds, you must find a way. Dig down, dig down, dig down, and find faith when you're close to the edge. With a gun to your head, you must find a way. When friends are thin on the ground and they try to divide us, we must find a way. We have entered the fray and we will not obey. We must find a way, yeah. Ooh, dig down, dig down, dig down, and find faith when they've left you for dead, when you only see red. You must find a way. Dig down. Find a way.
I hope you enjoyed the clip. I really enjoyed that clip, and it spoke a lot to me. The guy who was in the cave, looking at the shadows, made me realize that in life, we're all conditioned a bit as we grow up in whatever your viewpoint is, whatever your cave is. But the guy was released from the cave, went outside, and at first, he didn't really understand what he was seeing. He was looking at things, they weren't very clear, which helped me because some of the things we bring in Q, they challenge the way we thought, the way we were conditioned, if you like. But eventually things will settle and you'll realize that the things are the truth. So the bigger picture is what we're ultimately about at Q, trying to help you see, help me see. And this little clip helped me realize that it's a gradual process. You don't see things overnight. If somebody challenges the way you thought for years, you tend to stick, like the guy in the cave when he went back and said, I've discovered that these shadows, well, the guys were vehemently defending their position. And I think in the past, I've been a bit like that. If I'm challenged, some of the thinking that I was brought up with, that challenge, I used to defend it. But like Jenny brought last week, the picture of the guy, the rhinoceros, every picture he painted had a massive horn in the middle of it. And we're here to encourage you to look past, like the guy in the Plato clip. Once he got outside, it's expansive, it's larger, it's bigger, and it's not confined and restricting like we have sometimes thought in the past. So be encouraged. There's an expanse, there's a freedom, there's a bigness of God that we can see, and that's what we're all about in Q. We're trying to undo you the chains, but you need to walk out and have a look at the wider thing. So the next person who's going to share with us tonight is Debbie. So,
Hi, everybody. Sometimes you don't realize what's going on in you. You feel a mess and you don't know, but gradually a little bit of light comes in. And I've been feeling that I knew there was something I should be doing, but I've felt that things were definitely speaking to me, and I felt, this is it, I'm going to do it, and I fail, and I fail, and I fail, and I fail, and it makes you feel negative, it makes you feel that you can't do things. I've really been struggling this for a long, long time. And I found myself saying, well, I've got to get it right. I've got to get it right. Everything seemed to end with being right. And then Jenny brought the picture of the horn and looking at a different picture. And at first, I thought, oh, this is it. Yes, this is it. And then I thought, oh, I can't do it. And I don't know how to do it. And because I was sort of trying to do it. And I thought, well, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do. I'm going to look at things from a different viewpoint. And as Danny says, I'm going to put change my garden. I'm actually doing that at the moment. There's a lot of things that have grown really big and really tatty and so I'm going to get rid of a load of things. And I've realized that I need to get rid of a load of things in my life that have been there for a long time and that I'm going to change. Anyway, so that's really helped me. I find that when I'm feeling negative, I get into a really dark, down place, and it's difficult to get out of it. You're just thinking, well, I'm not this, I'm that, this is it, and you just don't know how to get out of it. But I found one thing that does help is being grateful and just saying, oh, thank you, and you realise the light suddenly comes on, and you think, oh, it's not, okay, there's something maybe. But sometimes I think, well, I'm not doing it right. I shouldn't be here, but I've definitely been told, no, I've got to stay and learn. And I've always had the feeling that Father's here. He's saying, okay, you haven't got there yet, but just keep going and you'll get there. And so this clip meant a lot to me. So thank you.
Hello, QChurch. Greetings from Salt Lake City. I'm sat here in our little apartment. It's nice to be here, but we do miss you all incredibly much. We had a wonderful experience watching back the service from last week, and really appreciate all that the guys have done. We loved the content. It was brilliant. Everybody did so well. But we do miss you, and we're looking forward to being back with you next week. So the clip that I really feel has had a major significance in my life is the one that we showed a few weeks ago when we were talking about our quest for curiosity. And the clip is taken from the film Smallfoot, and it's the one where Migo's father, who is the gong ringer, who is responsible for ringing the gong that allows the sun to rise every day, has a moment where he gets his trajectory wrong and sadly he misses the gong for the first time. And then he realises that the sun still comes up after all. And that is a major issue in his life, because he has thought all the time that he's responsible for that by what he's done. And it means a lot to me, this, because there were many things that I did for many, many years, which I believed I was responsible for making those things happen in my life, until one particular experience where I missed the gong, and it was a terrible experience, but what I realised afterwards was actually the sun still came up, and it had a massive impact on my life, because I realised that there were some things that were going to happen for me regardless of my performance or whatever it was that I felt responsible for in my life. And so I'm going to leave you with that and let you have a look at it, just to encourage you that, God's unconditional love for us is like the sun that comes up every day. And some of us feel that it's the stuff that we do that somehow makes that love there for us, when actually it's going to come up for you every day, regardless of your performance. So anyway, greetings again from Salt Lake. Enjoy this clip, and we look forward to seeing you next week. So bye-bye from me.
Hi, everyone. Wow, isn't this great tonight? I think it's just been awesome seeing everyone's different stories and different perspectives, and I like how it's all kind of flowing together. So I'm going to try something that I haven't done before. I'm going to share with you tonight one of my poems. I write in my spare time. Usually it's more novels because I like lots of words. Call that the loudmouth American in me that likes to talk a lot. And those of you who really know me know I'm kind of shy, so that's actually the opposite. So I'm going to try and stick to what I've written down. And Danny has kindly done some slides for me, so thank you, Danny. Right. I think a couple weeks ago, I think it was actually back in February, Anth was talking about wholeness and about our scars and how they form who we are and what we are. And I think, like all of us, kind of like our church and what we're trying not to be here at QChurch, you can get stuck with all of the labels. In that last video, he says, but if I'm not the gong ringer, who am I? And likewise, I could get stuck with all of the different labels that I stick on myself and forget who I really am. And this poem I wrote, I wanted to sort of say that maybe you're more than that. Maybe you're more than everything you think you are. And maybe, actually, God's given you all of the tools that you need. You just haven't been on that journey to discover it yet. So here we go. Gosh, this is even nervousing than last time. I'm not sure nervousing isn't a word, but it is now. Not enough. I am not enough, and I am not complete. I'm more than the person you think when we meet. I'm more than the labels given or chose to wear, more than my past, my faults, or the way I do my hair. I'm more than what I can or can't do, more than the things that I think are true. I am more than enough, and I'm more than complete. I'm more than the person I've yet learned how to be. I can be me, the truth or the fables, perfectly absolute, or weak and unable. I can love a little of myself or all of me, and treat others gracefully. I have enough. I don't need to compete. I have decided to be who I was made to be. I'm more than this life I live, loved more than I could possibly give. I will love all of me, and I will learn how to just be. To find peace in the depths of endless stormy seas. You are not enough, you are more, and wholly complete. Believe who you are, and learn just to be.
That's what you are to me, incredible. You bring out the best in me with your story of love. Inseparable, yes we are.
Been like a flower to a tree, like words to a melody of love.
There's just no way we could break up. No words that could make us more than. We're just inseparable. That's how it is, inseparable. For the rest of our years, it's so wonderful to know you'll always be around.
We're like a flower to a tree, like words to a melody of love.
Oops, forgot to use this. Hello, everybody. Isn't that just awesome? We've been watching The Shack, parts of The Shack, for quite a while at church. And to be honest, I never watched it. And really, that's a bit naughty of me, really, because so much has been taken from that film recently in our church that we've shared, and it has been awesome. And so this one day, I sat and I watched it. And I just cried because I'd missed out on a trick. You know, I'd missed out on a huge piece, which was just the jigsaw piece that I needed in my life. And probably most of you already know that I had a wonderful stepdad called Ron, who was just amazing. He was so loving, he was so giving, he was so nice. He was dead grumpy, mind, but he was just amazing. But then I was really blessed with a real father. The father was my biological father. Now, my biological father left us when we were 2, and my mum got remarried to Ron when we were 7, and we became Ron's children. So he was my stepdad, and he was my dad. But Walter, when Ron died, there was this little gap that were like, you've still got a father out there, but you don't know who he is. You don't know what he's like. You know that it was tough at home, because that's why your mum left. And that's true. My mum had a really, really tough time with him, and she took us all away before it got bad for us as kids. And so that happened in my life. And then a couple of years ago, well, more than a couple of years ago, I kept trying to get in touch with my real father, Walter. And I kept sending him cards, you know, my name's, you know, he already was in touch with my brother and my sister, but just not me. And I couldn't understand it, and I couldn't get my head around it. But he died, and that was it. That was closure to it. And I was never going to be able to have that link that actually I'm your dad, I'm your daughter, and I could never have that, and so there was never any real closure in it for me. Well, when I watched The Shack, it really, really touched home, because in The Shack, the guy is offered to be a judge, to judge his father, to judge other people. And he said, I can't do that. It's too great a thing to do. I can't. And like the figure of God was saying to him, but actually you've been doing it every day. You've been judging him every day. And actually I've been judging Walter every day for being an absent father. And I really had. And he probably called him a few choice words that I maybe shouldn't have even entered my head, but I did, because he was absent to me. But through this film, and when he came to see his dad acknowledged that, you know what, I were wrong too. I was completely at the wrong. And I do love you. You're my son. I love you. And you know what? It really blessed me, because I can only imagine that that's what's going to happen when I see my biological father. When I see my dad, he's going to give me that great big hug, because he was the best hugger in the whole world. But when I see my father, he's going to have contact with me, which is just amazing. And the only person that can release that, to imagine that, is me. I no longer pass any judgment on my real father, because, bless him, he was just trying his best. And you know what? If you've got somebody in your life that you've got this, not hatred, or maybe even it is hatred, but maybe there's something about this person in your life that you just cannot let it go, do let it go. Let those feelings go, because you can't keep judging them anymore. That's not going to help you at all. What's going to help you is to release it and just let that judgment go on them, and imagine that at some stage you can be reconnected. When we go to heaven, you can reconnect with that person if they're deceased, or maybe reconnect now they're alive, and just let things go and just say, I can only imagine that this is going to happen between us. Because it is a blessing. I mean, this film is a real blessing to me, because once that guy had forgiven his father and forgiven himself, he moved on, he got better. things improved. And do you know what? Things have definitely improved for me these last few weeks because I've let that judgment on him go, because I realise, bless him, he were probably only doing his best. And so I can imagine now that when I do see my real father again, we're going to have that hug, we're going to have that communication. And how amazing is that? So hope everything's all right. Thank you.
A few weeks back at Q, we were on a quest for joy. Anne said something about there's a sense of centeredness and wholeness that the Bible calls home. It's that place of unconditional love, acceptance and belonging where true joy is found. I found that really inspiring. He went on to say that we've got to be more intentional about cultivating joy and put time and effort into developing it, and it'll grow. So Steve and I are about to cultivate joy now in a place we're proud to call home. A place of unconditional love, acceptance and belonging. P.S. It might get loud. Sorry about that, it's just how we cultivate joy. Actually, not sorry.
Hello? Anybody home?
Anybody home?
Is anybody home?
Is anybody home?
Where is home?
Home is where your rump rests. Home is where the heart is.
Home is where you're surrounded by other critters that care about you.
I'd like to introduce you to Bertha. He's our 9-month-old bronze turkey that we rescued just before Christmas. He is just fabulous. He is a he. He loves spending time with me when I'm in the garden. He struts about next to me, and if I sit down and have a cup of tea, he'll have a little sleep next to me as well. He just loves being himself. Even though he's called Bertha, it doesn't stop him doing and being just what he wants to be. At the moment he's learning to moonwalk. He loves to dance. His head changes colour from grey to red to blue to purple, depending on his mood. He's also grown a little beard, which is a little stubbly thing in his chest. Every week something new happens. He's just an absolute miracle, really. I love spending time with Bertha. I love being in the garden with nature, and I think the reason I love it so much is because it shows you life at its simplest, and we spend so much time trying to fit in and be what we think we should be. And to look at Bertha and just be out with nature, you realise how simple it could be, and just to live life and just be. The best thing I've learned is to accept myself, and to me that was the starting point for life just to get better for me. So thank you.
Hi, just before I start, I just want to say I'm just so glad to be part of this church, and I just want to say thank you to everybody here. I've just, there's nowhere else that I'd rather be. I just want to say thank you. But the video, I've chosen a video clip that we showed it quite a while ago now. It was a rehearsal for The Greatest Showman. And it starts off, Hugh Jackman's had an operation and has been advised not to sing. And he does, most of the time he adheres to that, but then he gets to a point where he's just comes so in the moment, and he feels so passionate that he just can't hold in what's inside him, and he has to sing. And the song is actually called From Now On, but I think of it as the coming home song. There is a part where they talk about coming home, because that's what it speaks to me when I hear it. And I see coming home as, to me, it's when you come to that place where you just totally connect with who you are, with God inside, and you just connect with your wholeness and your joy of being, and it is a wonderful place to be. And I've been home many times and then maybe wandered off, and I think we're all like that. And I saw a quote, it was quite a while ago now, it was in a little book, and it was by somebody called, is it up on there? Yeah. Somebody called Ram Dass, and it says, "We are all just walking each other home." And I just love that quote, because I just feel that, to me, that's becoming more and more what church is to me. It just strips all the religion away. We're just all walking each other home to that place where we connect with that joy of being who we really are, where we know that God's love is just flowing through us, and that's the place that we want to lead each other to, and that's what I see church as being, really. I know that I've been lost in some pretty dark, scary alleys, and I've had people walk me home, and then I know I've walked people home as well. And I think we need to just keep doing it, because I think we need it all the time. So yeah, that's to me, that's coming home. And this video clip, it's a group of actors who are having a rehearsal, but to me they're having church. I think the lead, I think Hugh Jackman comes home, and I think they're all bringing each other home, and there's such a joy in the way that they're performing. There's just joy there. You can feel it in the video, and I just love it. So I hope you enjoy it as well.
Hello. as we finish tonight, I just wanted to say an absolutely heartfelt thank you so much. We were hoping that we would do ourselves out of a job tonight and fill the whole night with your contributions. So thank you for everyone that got in touch. Thank you for being here. It has been so amazing to hear from you and from us as a collective. And so thank you so, so much for doing that. Please feel free at any point to send us in something that means something to you. And we will include those. And the summary of tonight is that there is absolutely no Q without you. And so thank you for being you. Thank you for all the ways in which you help walk one another home, help walk me home. We have almost got this paradox going on in what we do here at Q, in that in some ways, Anthony feels so led to be an icebreaker. And if you think of the difference between an icebreaker and a cruise liner, one is easier than the other, because an icebreaker's got to go where you haven't been before, in colder conditions with fewer on the boat. And so on the one hand, that is a tough challenge and a tough call. But on the other hand, we've also learned that we are home, we are whole, we don't have to strive through our performance. We're on the other side of that cave and all the things that we've learned tonight. So I want to believe that despite the quest we've embarked on, which it's hard to break new ground, we're going to do that with infectious joy, which would be wonderful, because joy on a journey helps get the job done. And I think where that joy comes from is us and our connectedness with one another as we encourage ourselves to. The reason why we're breaking ice is because we want to walk people home. And so let's keep spreading the joy. And our final item tonight, I think, is going to be introduced by Lucy. And it's also Megan's contribution as well. So thank you again. Enjoy this last item. Thank you very much.
I'm not really a public speaker, as many of you know, but I've been asked to introduce the next song, which Megan and Georgia chose for this evening. When asked why this song, Megan chose this song, she said that she likes it because she likes to dance to it, and she loves it because it's being me, no one else. And isn't that great? We all want to be me. When I asked Georgia, she wasn't so forthcoming. Although it was the first song she sang this morning, she said it's fun, which is great. You know, if it's fun, hope that we'll all find it fun today. When I looked into it, I just read a few of the words, and I just wanted to sort of finish on these words from the song. And it said, I'm who I'm meant to be. And what I saw is we are who we're meant to be, not just, I'm who I'm meant to be, you are who you are meant to be. And that's great, and I think we're going on that journey that we're finding out who we're meant to be and feeling the confidence to be that. I'm just going to turn over. Another of the lines says, I know that I deserve your love. And that can be pretty hard to sort of take on board. But, I've come a long journey and I'm getting there. We all deserve God's love, and he wants us to know that and feel that. And then the last sort of line that I looked at, there's nothing that we're not worthy of. We're all worthy. And I just think, that's the journey that we're going on. And I want you to feel the same sort of as I'm coming on my journey. Loved tonight. Loved everybody's contributions. So please, can you all get up on your feet and sing this song with Megan and Georgia?
They say we don't want your broken parts.
This is me.